guys my the other class is recording too. So I was always send you both, previous class and this class. So yeah, but my other class I recorded it from my other class, so you still get everything we talked about today. So you'll be all right. Let's see. Go. What was I looking at? No, we'll go back there. Let's go to, why don't I see my file? But before we go into functions, I think I'm good. Yeah, but going back to my math lab, there are two different types of assignments. And you have your my math lab, I mean the Excel ones, and you have your regular assignments. Why won't it let me share this? I don't understand why it won't let me share my screen. All right. So this section 1.1 starts off with functions. So we'll do a little bit of that, and then we will call it a day. And like I said, as far as the previous stuff that was recorded, that wasn't recorded, I did record it in my last class, so you will still have access to the things that we talked about. I think at the end of this, after you guys leave, I probably will put some, do some of the same things over just in case, so that they'll be in both recordings. So, whichever one you look at, just know that if you see in this one, your class, that the stuff that we talked about in Excel will be at the back of it instead of in the front of it. So either one will have the same type of information. Okay. So this is the first thing you're talking about as far as functions are concerned. In order to get into functions, you want to examine what a relation is. A relation is any set of ordered pairs. Like I explained to the class, to my last class, whatever questions you have, make sure you ask them, no matter how lost you may feel, because there are certain things that they are expecting you to know coming into this section, coming into this class. Like they expect you to know what an ordered pair is. So, ordered pairs, because they call it ordered pair because the order matters, normally is associated with X and Y. First component being your X component, second being your Y component, and then looking at your Cartesian coordinate plane, your X is your horizontal axis, Y is your vertical axis. So then you would use those ordered pairs to plot these points. So when they say ordered pair, they expect that to be okay with you. So like I said, if I use any terminology or say anything, make sure you ask your question. So relation is just any set of ordered pairs. So I just did a random example: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your domain is the set of all of your first components of your ordered pairs. So when you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the first components in each would be 1, 3, and 5. So that would be your domain. Also, as I go throughout these notes, if I move too fast or you want me to repeat something or scroll back up, feel free to say so. So your domain is a set of all first components of your ordered pairs, but your range is a set of all second components of your ordered pairs. So 2, 4, and 6 would make up your range. All right. So just doing a head-to-head comparison of your domain and range. Your domain will be your first components, range second components, like we already mentioned. Your domain are your X variables, range your Y variables. Domain is your input, your range is your output. So you're going to plug in your domain values and get out your range values. And then domain is independent when your range is dependent. All right. If you write slow, don't let me roll on without you. Please feel free to stop me. All right. Definition of a function. So this is what we're trying to get to. Definition of a function. Somebody's trying to get in. Hold on a second. Okay. Definition of a function. A function is a relation in which the elements from the domain corresponds to exactly one element in the range. All right. So let me erase some of this because I went through a lot of discussion. I just erase it. Give me 1 second. Why is it not? Thank you. All right. So determine whether each relation is a function. So we have 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 8, 4, 9. So let me go ahead and get this out of the way. These are just numbers that they put together for you to determine whether they represent a function or not. One has nothing to do with, I mean, how can I say this? I had a few people last class that were over-examining or overthinking this problem. Don't worry about how 1 go to 6 and how 2 go to 6 and 3 go to 8 and 4 go to 9. You're getting too deep. All you want to do right now is determine whether this relation represents a function according to the definition that we were just given. So how 1 go to 6 and 2 go to 6 does not even matter. We just want to know, does this represent a function in its current state? So just want to make sure I just stop us from overthinking this whole situation right here. So we can create a mapping to help us possibly help us see it better. Our domain is 1, 2, 3, 4. Our range 6, 8, 9. Now the domain, 1 goes to 6, 2 goes to 6, 3 goes to 8, 4 goes to 9. So where this one may present a little bit of confusion is the fact that 1 goes to 6 and 2 also goes to 6. But what we have to ask ourselves is, going back to the definition of what a function is, does each element from the domain correspond to exactly one element in your range? So when I look at 1, we're just going to go to each one of the elements in the domain individually. Does the element 1 goes to exactly one element in the range? The answer is yes. Does 2 go to exactly one element? The answer is yes. They may go to the same element, but they only go into one individually. So 1 is only going to 6. 1 is not going to 6 and 5. 1 is only going to 6. And so does 3 go to one element? Yes. And does 4 go to one element? The answer is yes. So that means it is a function. All right. Questions on that before we look at the next one? So you look at each one of your elements in the domain individually. If that each individual element goes to exactly one element in your range, then it is a function.
So how do you determine which number, how do you determine their relation?
That will be dependent on the function that you're given. That goes beyond the scope of this assignment.
Okay.
So they would, in other words, if they would have given you a function like y equal to 2x plus 1, then you can plug in values for x and then get out of y. Then that's how you would determine what your ordered pairs would be. But they didn't give you that. So they didn't give you a way to determine what numbers go to what. They just gave you these ordered pairs and say, okay, is this a function? And so it's just an exercise to help you establish and clarify what a function is and what a function isn't. All right, questions on that before we go to the next one? All right. So the next one, this was just me explaining something to somebody, basically going back to what I was saying about a function. You have to have one established first. Oh, let me erase that. I want to leave it. You have to have one established first, and then you can plug in values for x and get your y out. So if x was 5, you plug it in, you get 11. And so that ordered pair is 5, 11. So that was just something we were talking about last class. So here, if I invert each one of the ordered pairs, remember we had 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 8, 4, 9 in the last one. So inverting the ordered pairs. And now I'm looking at my domain. That's 6, 8, 9. My range is now 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when I look at my mapping, 6 goes to 1 and 6 goes to 2. 8 goes to 3, 9 goes to 4. So now because 6 is in your domain and it goes to 2 different values, that means it's not a function. So that's the difference between something being a function and not being a function, according to that definition that was given. Your domain cannot have more than one range values or range elements attached to it. All right. So here are a few different ways of wording that definition. There can be a repeated value in the range, but no value can repeat in the range. So if we go back to what we're saying here, and I'm gonna scroll back down, but see how we have repeated values in your range, and that was a function. But when I had a repeated value in my domain, that was not considered a function. So there can be a repeated value in the range, but no value can repeat in the domain. The range can go to more than one value. The domain can only go to one value. All right. questions before I show you at least one more thing? Preview. Here we go. Where did that example go? I should have deleted it. Why doesn't that give me the problem I had? Sorry about this. I lost my problem. Okay, well, let's just try this one. This one should be fine, I guess. So, one way they want you to all right. So one way they want you to look at the application of functions is here they don't go into deep details about functions pretty much any further than what I just finished mentioning. It says in the following situation state whether the two variables are related in a way that might be described by a function. If so, identify the independent dependent variables. So you run different distance intervals on a track and want to know your heart rate depends on distances you run at a fixed speed. So, so you have to ask yourself with this application, um, is it possible to run? It says run different distance intervals on a track and want to know how your heart rate depends on the distances you run at a fixed speed. So this can be described by a function. Basically, if your dependent variable is your heart rate and your independent variable is your distance run. So in other words, if you run a certain distance, your heart is going to beat at a certain pace versus running at a shorter distance. Let's say if you run a longer distance, your heart would beat at a certain pace. You run a shorter distance, it would beat at another pace. Or if you're running faster versus running slower. So you can say that your distance that you run would be connected to a specific heart pace. Um, let's see if they have another one. If you follow a situation like okay, one that was a good one that I saw before I go here is that if you jump out of a plane with a parachute, they emphasize with a parachute. You jump out of a plane with a parachute. Um, would the distance traveled and the time represent a function? And the answer is yes, because It's not like you can, once you jump out, you're not jumping out of plane with a backpack. You're jumping out of plane, with a jetpack. You're jumping out of plane with a parachute. So you're going to consistently be going down. So each time that you look at that's coming out of the plane would coincide with just one distance that's coming out of the plane. And so these are the applications that they want you to use when you're talking about relating it to a function. Once again, your domain can only go to one value in your range. So when I jump out this plane, and the time that let's say 1 second out of the plane will be a certain distance. 2 seconds out of the plane will be another distance. 3 seconds out of the plane will be another distance. Like, it's not like the third second out of the plane would be the same as the first second out of the plane, because you're constantly going down. You're never going back up, to the plane. So those are the applications or the exercises as far as functions are concerned that they want you to use to apply to that concept. But try it out. Like I told my last class, some of them, it's only like 3 or 4 of them at the most. Try them out. You may get them wrong before you get it right. Remember, when it comes to my math lab, you get unlimited amount of tries to get the best grade possible. If you get it wrong, they'll give you a little hint as to what it could be. Let's see if I get it all the way wrong. You get that red X, hit similar question. Okay, well, I guess next time I need to read it. I was just trying to guess at it. Anyway, once you get it right, then you'll get that red X will turn to a green check. And then it'll be like you never got it wrong. You get full credit. So as far as functions, that's all they wanted from you. Questions on functions. Anything I've said up to this point, make sure we're okay. Try that Excel assignment out. See if you have any questions. You can either ask them on next class, or you can shoot me an email if you don't feel like waiting until next class. That's fine as well. It doesn't matter whether you email me directly or shoot it through Canvas. Either way, I'll get it. So just let me, just whichever way is comfortable for you. Okay, there goes something in the chat. And it didn't pop up. Okay, let's stop. There we go. Oh man. Okay, so we just keep going down the line with assignments. Yeah, if you feel comfortable as far as the assignments are concerned, yeah, you can keep moving, keep rolling. I don't have any blocks or anything like that that's preventing you from moving ahead. So feel free to move ahead as much as you like. I would even suggest it if you have the capability of moving ahead, because you never know, you might run into a speed bump or a snare that may, call for you to spend more time. So if you can move ahead or you're in your flow, then feel free to do so. Yep. All right. Anything else? Anybody else? Good. Straight. Okay. So what I'm about to do now is let you guys go. I am going to go back to the Excel and try to put in, or just talk about the different things we talked about today, because remember, we didn't have it recorded. Once again, so it'll be at the back of this recording, but those same things will be in my other recording for the other class that I'll send to you guys anyway. But if you are good, if you're done, then I will see you guys on next class. Have a good one, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Let me clear this out. All right, so we talked about putting the data value in here. That was the first one in A. Put that value in L4 and to format it. So you right click, hit format, and it says make it accounting. So there are your options as far as formatting your cells. So hit OK on that, and that would turn it to a cell that's formatted for accounting. So for here, if you want to do the sum of anything, you do equal, and sum is addition. So you do sum, parentheses. If I wanted to add up this row B6 to no J6, I would do B6 colon J6, close the parentheses, and hit enter. Now in B, what they wanted us to do was subtract the sum of those values in that row B6 to J6 from this value in L4. So what I did was, well, at first I didn't know exactly how to do it. I knew somewhat how to do it. So I just Googled how to subtract in Excel, and it told you all you had to do is use the minus sign. So if all I want to do was L4 minus L5, I could do that with no problem. But I wanted to subtract the sum of what was going on in the row 6. So what I had to do was put the equal sign first. Whenever you're trying to do an operation, well, I say a formula, you do the equal sign. L4 is its beginning value minus the sum from B6 to J6. So that's what I did there. And let me delete this. Okay, so then here, and what was down here, which is not anything that they asked for, we talked about average. So average is right there, and I did B6, J6, and I just took the average of the values that are in that row, and that's how I got that 217. So that's not something that they asked specifically, but I see down here that they do talk about average, so that's how you would do that. So let's go up here to my formulas, equal average, and then whatever columns or rows that they want you to add up. So now the next one, we also talked about if I wanted to highlight, I would hold the shift button down and go up and down, and that will highlight anything that I want to cut and paste. I can go right and left as well. So we want to copy this formula and paste it in the cells going all the way down to L24. So I'll copy it first, so I can right click and copy. And then I would highlight down to 24. I can right click, or like one of your classmates mentioned, we can do Control V. And I don't want to paste just any old thing. I want to paste the formulas. And so you got to be careful what you paste, because if you just paste anything, you may not get the desired result. This would just give me that formula or that rows formula here. This would just paste. I don't know. I have to look and see what that's pasting. This would just paste that value. And here you're supposed to be able to paste the formulas. And I'm trying to see why is it not working. What's the error in value? Must be something going wrong, but it worked the first time. Formula in this cell refers to the range. Nope, didn't want to do that. So let me see what's going on with this. Because it worked here. So what happened here that didn't happen in the other one? So L6 minus B7, right? L7 minus B8. L8 minus B9. And it may take something like this. You know, you go back and forth, troubleshoot what you have, figure out what's going on. And these are supposed to be the same because there are no values here. It subtracted it this one, and that's why it changed from here to here, but the rest of them should be the same. Then it should change here. So this is right, but why did it not take the last time I did it? All right, so the formula omits adjacent cells. So this is B7, J7. I'll have to figure this out and maybe send another video to figure out why this is key, because I don't want to take this video, make this video too long. But yeah, so that's how you would do it though. It worked in the first one, for some reason not working on this one. And like I said, I'll check it out, send another video to see what's wrong with this. It says trace error. Okay, so based on this one. So what is wrong with this? J7, helping error. Easy way to say there's something wrong with the way the formula is typed. Okay. L5. Why is it saying L5? Right, that's why. Okay. So why did it go L5 though? This is L4. Okay, got it. That's why. But it didn't do that the first time. So that, okay, got it. That's why, because I did it right the first time. So let me delete this. I was paying attention to the directions the first time. So that's, we created this. Put it here, paste the formula. And this is supposed to be L6. Remember, we were looking at the directions the first time. So L6, and then from here, we copying this value and we're pasting it. So pay attention to the directions. That's a lesson learned here, right? And there we go. All right, so that one value messed up my stuff. But yeah, so okay. Now we're good to go. So that should be straight. That's what we talked about. We did that. These were values we had to plug in, and then once again, formatting, right click, format cells, turn it to accounting. And that is it. I see a few people stayed on. Did anybody have any questions before I close this out? Good, everybody straight. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this and save this video. You guys help here, chat. See the chat. Format date. Okay, format dates. Yes. So you would just type in the date, and you would really do it the same way. Whoa, the same way that you format. If I can not mess this up. All right, so I gotta get this off. All right. So the same way you would format your sales generally. Let's say if I want to do August 24th, well, they're already set up that way, but I would hit right click and hit format sales, and then I can go to date, and then these are the different ways you can put your date in, and they even got a way to customize it too. But the main ones you guys would use would be right here, and even I could change it that way. So yep. Showing format dates. Thank you very much. All right. So if everybody's good, I will close out this video and see you. Oh, one more chat. Could you show me how to format dates? I see. Oh, no, that was bad. See, thank you. Have a good day. Okay. You have a good one too. Appreciate you. All right. You guys have a good one. Stay safe. I will see you on Wednesday.